Hello guys and welcome to my YouTube video. So today I wanted to discuss with you about the Chernobyl disaster. My name is Karabay Sanzhar and let's start. So let's firstly revise what is a Chernobyl disaster. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant was built due to the Cold War between the USA and USSR. The disaster itself happened on the 26th April of the 1986 in the power plant Chernobyl that was placed nearby a city called Pripyat in the Ukraine that was at the time the part of the USSR. So on that day the first reactor of the power plant caught fire and had a massive radioactive emission. Although it reached the most part of the Belarus, Russia and Ukraine, it didn't have so many victims of this accident. Over 30 operators and firemen died trying to put out the fire, and 2 workers of the power plant died due to the explosion. Also, there were 237 people that were diagnosed with acute radiation syndrome because of the radiation, in short IRS, and 134 of these cases were confirmed, and 28 people died because of the IRS in a few weeks. So we now know about this problem more. So who can we blame for this problem? Who is responsible for it? There are 3 main opinions who is responsible for it. First is the deputy chief of the factory, Anatoly Dyatlov, because when the results before the dangerous test for the first reactor came out, they were too low. I will show you further. But Dyatlov still allowed the test of the reactor that led to the disaster. The second opinion is that the pollutions were the reason, because the nuclear power plant was based on the one of the most radioactive elements of the periodic table, the uranium, and that they not prioritize the safety of the citizens first. Also, some people think that the designers of the first reactor are those who are responsible for it, because it had many small mistakes, and it didn't even have the plan for the evacuation for this disaster. So that's why so many people were emitted with the radiation and died. So let's talk more about the main opinion about Anatoly Dyatlov. On the April 26th of 1986, on the 12 a.m., deputy chief of the reactor Anatoly Dyatlov decided to test the reactor to give enough energy to the cooling pumps. After getting failed results for the same test from the last year, it was decided to repeat it because they saw, because of the voltage system that had been settled, the results will become better, and they could give enough energy to cooling pumps. But during the shutdown of the reactor, the results were abnormally low. As I said, in the standardized version, it should be 850 megawatt, but the result they got were 30 megawatt. So we can see how big this gap is and how dangerous were to start this test. But even after getting these results, Anatoly decided to run the test, and that's where the disaster started, because that's where the problems with the steam, drum and system pressure begins. On the 1 a.m., the whole crew started to doubt this decision, and on the 2 a.m., the explosion happened itself. Then at the 6 a.m., the firemen arrived and started to try to prevent the fire, but they failed. So how were the lives of people immediately changed from this disaster? So agriculture had a huge change because of hundreds of farmers that couldn't sell the food because of the contaminated livestock they had, because all the earth that was contaminated was containing so much radiance that even if livestock ate it, the livestock became emitted too, and the meat of this animal would be emitted too. So they couldn't sell it because it wasn't safe enough. And also it had huge problems with economics. So countries such as Ukraine, Belarus and Russia suffered the most, because they got over 5 million people living in the radioactivity affected zones. 3,000 people were left the zones where they lived because of the dangerous radiation emission. Also, as I said, the agriculture and natural ecosystem changed, and there were 200% increase in birth defects and 250% increase in congenital birth deformities in children born in the Chernobyl fallout area since 1986. After the disaster, Ronald Reagan, at the time the US president, found this as an opportunity to emphasize the evilness of the Soviets, and then the Soviet Union had big problems in the economics, and because of that and many other factors, it was broken apart, as we know, in the 1991. So, in solution, I wanted to say that, in conclusion, I wanted to say that the Chernobyl problem teaches us to put safety as our main priority, and after this disaster, the usage of the nuclear power plants was decreased in the world. So, to prevent for the further disasters or even the worst disasters to happen. So, that was it. Thank you for the attention. Please like and subscribe my channel. So, bye.